Thanks again for joining me on the podcast. I want to talk to you about not allowing unsuccessful people to distract you. Don't do it. Don't let unsuccessful people distract you. First of all, let me just make it clear. You are on the right path. You heard me correctly. You're on the right path. Some of you who are watching and listening right now, I think you're at a place of uncertainty. You're not sure if you're on the right path. You're not sure if you're doing things the right way. And the reason for that is there are so many people who are saying things verbally and non-verbally that is allowing you or causing you to question yourself, to question whether or not you're on the right path, to question whether or not you're successful. You know, people have a tendency, if you're not careful, their attitude towards you, whether it is in person or from a distance, can make you feel like, wait a minute, maybe you're at fault, maybe you're wrong, maybe something is wrong with you, or perhaps you need to change your ways, or maybe don't pursue certain dreams in life. But I have come today on the podcast to tell you, do not let unsuccessful people to distract you from your purpose, to distract you from your dreams. I know this is something that happens very common among all of us. So many people are getting distracted by the wrong people. Now, they're people you need to, first of all, whenever you're going to take advice from people or you're going to look at other people to determine whether or not you're on the right path, please make sure they have a good track record. Make sure. It's amazing how people will talk to you about your family life and they don't have one. It's amazing how people can talk to you about your personality and your attitude. And last time I checked, their attitude is horrible. Think about that. So many of you are allowing unsuccessful people to mentor you, to influence you. And that's not something good. That's not something good for you to do. You need to focus on your own dreams, focus on where you're going, and only use people who have got a good success track record to influence your life. The devil always works on your mind. That's the goal. If he can get you to begin to think that, wait a minute, maybe something is wrong with you, or maybe, you're at fault, maybe you're the issue, whether it's on the job. I can't tell you how many of you right now, as you are listening, you've got so many issues on the job and you know you're right. You know what you're doing, it's the right thing. You know what you're thinking, it's the right thing. And if you're not careful, you'll begin to question whether or not maybe you just need to give in. Maybe you just need to become a part of the clutter. Maybe, for you to win, you have to play dirty and so forth. Don't you do it, honey. Don't do that. You stand up for what you believe in. And you be separate. You come from among them. You be unique and different. Don't settle for average. Some of you are dealing with family crisis. And there are people in your family who make you think, who do you think you are? You think you're better off than everybody else. Why? Because you talk differently, you act differently. You're purpose driven, you're focused on where you're going and so forth. And they're not, but yet they want to tell you how to live your life. There are people who don't own nothing. When I say zero, nothing, they're trying to tell you how you should invest and when you should not invest and so forth. Be careful, man. Don't let unsuccessful people distract you. One of the things I notice with unsuccessful people, here are some of the traits Okay, they have a lot of information. They do. They have a lot of information, a lot of things they'll try to get to you. They'll try to pass on to you. That's why they love gossip. They love venting. Unsuccessful people love to vent. Not only vent, but they vent holding everybody responsible for their failures. Prove me wrong. Always. Everybody else is at fault. Everybody else is wrong, but they are perfect. They are the right person. I'm saying, okay, if everybody is wrong and they are right, why is it most of the people they're blaming and dogging out and talking about, why are they surviving? Why are they thriving? Why are they being successful? Why are they focus driven? And they are not. Think about that. Don't you become a part of that madness where you allow people to drive you into thinking something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're on the right path. One of the things that I've always done in my life is the people that I really try to influence me are people who are way more successful than me. Way more successful than me. Because not that I'm trying to be like them. I never really want to be like anybody else. I just want to be me. I just want to have all that God has for me. And that should be your desire. Don't try to be like someone else. I want to have what they have. I want to become like them. Don't ever live your life that way. Be your unique self. Just be different. Tell yourself, I'm me, I know what I'm about, and this is what I'm going to pursue. And you do that. And don't listen to the crazy madness that these people will bring to you at times. Satan will send them in your way. He'll work on the mind. He'll bombard your mind with confusion. He'll bombard your mind with these people talking. Never allow your ear gates to become a cesspool or a dump where people can come and dump all their garbage in your life. I am very careful of who I enter in my space. And if anybody know me, and that's why sometimes some people probably, they can't connect with me that much, because do not come into my space and saturate my space with gossip. I don't want to hear about somebody else and their issues and so forth, even if it's relevant, even if it's obvious, even if it's out there. I don't care. I really don't care. That's between them and God. So don't come waste my time and tell me what's wrong with everybody else, what everybody else is doing. Come into my space and influence me. Tell me what you're dreaming of. Tell me what you're about to do. And talk to me, influence me, push me into my purpose. Tell me, Henry, you can do this. Henry, I see greater in you. I see much more coming out of you, because that's my passion. I'm running out of time. When you get to a certain age, you have no more time to waste with people who are not going anywhere, who have no proven track record. Think about that. So be careful. Be careful how you waste your time having people to be jealous over you and you sitting there wondering what you did them. And no. Here's what I tell people all the time. We all make mistakes. All of us make mistakes. Every one of us make mistakes, right? And when you know your heart that whatever you are trying to do was never to inflict or to bring about hurt or harm to anyone, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't sit there trying to twist people's arms to believe you. Don't go out there trying to get people to like you. It's a part of life. Some people come, some people go. Some people love you, some people won't love you. Some people will be jealous over you, and some people will be excited for your successes and so forth. But don't you ever waste your time with people who have no success track record. See, for me, I can deal with someone criticizing me or come into my space who have achieved certain things, greatness, who have been through struggles and came up on top. But don't come to me if you haven't achieved those things thinking that you have something to tell me. I'm not saying you can't advise or whatever, but when you come with the attitude that you're going to distract me, oh, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go, man. Because I am so focus driven. I am focus driven. So let me talk to you about some of the areas of your life that you should not allow unsuccessful people to distract you. So, for example, relationship. Okay? Why are you going to sit there and listen to people talking about somebody else's relationship when they themselves never mastered their own? Don't shout me down now. Why? Don't come in my space and tell me that John Doe, Mary Sue, whatever the person's name is, they struggled, they didn't do well, or they're struggling when you have no track record of you being successful in that area yourself. Because those people who are successful in relationships wouldn't even approach it that way. They will come and say, you know what, let's pray for so-and-so. Let's encourage so-and-so. Let's find a way to get them in the right path and so forth. Think about that. But you never allow people who are not successful in the area that they're trying to counsel you in. That's crazy. Think about that for a moment. If for someone to come to you and say to you, well, I don't think you're going to, you're spending your money wisely. I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should invest there. I don't think, I think you're over your head with your bills and so forth. I don't mind a person come and share the concern if you have a track record. But if you own nothing, zero, I'm talking about when we look at your portfolio, there is nothing. You have not built a track record of obtaining wealth. Don't talk to me because you have nothing to say. Think about that for a minute. When you have a coworker on the job who's trying to tell you and influence you and frustrate you and tell you this and tell you that and leave the company and forget about this and da-da-da-da, when they don't have a track record of stability, come on, man. I think we are more wiser than we think we are. So many times we just allow the wrong people to get into our space and influence us. For heaven's sake, let successful people influence your life, not unsuccessful people. So you may need to take inventory of who is in your space. Who do you allow to sit around the table with you for you to have conversations? What are their track records? What have they accomplished? What have they done? If you're planning to start up a business, why would you go to someone who has never had the desire to start up a business or maybe tried to do a business but failed at it miserable? Why would you want their advice? Or why would you want them to tell you, don't go into business, with the negative vibes? Why would you do that? They have no track record. They are just not successful, period. Why would you allow unsuccessful people who are not loyal, not faithful, have no longevity, tell you what true friendship is all about? Ooh, that's good. Think about that. Some people, when I tell you their connection and relationship is so flaky, why would you do that? Why would you let people who are toxic, very toxic, try to influence you and to tell you what is right, what is righteous, and what true friendship is all about? Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to be smarter. We've got to live our lives much smarter. Remember what I said before, because I don't want anybody to walk away and thinking that, okay, he's talking like some people are perfect and they don't need anybody to counsel them and talk to them. I never said that. What I'm saying to you, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody have issues in their lives. What I am saying is, when you know your heart, when you know that you are focus driven and you want to be successful in whatever area of your life, you have to begin to choose who you bring into your space. Because if you bring the wrong people in your space, it is going to totally derail you. I can speak from personal experiences that I have had some derailment in my life because of some people, because of the connections, because of the table that I sat at. Right? Because I'm looking at these people, because if anybody know me, I'm always looking at for the best in people. I really want, I'm not, some people, they're gifted in this. They're always suspicious of people, always saying, and their antennas are always up. And maybe that's where I get in trouble. I always see the best in everybody. And I always say to people, you then now have to prove yourself to me, because there's a saying, when people show you who they are, believe them. Once you show me who you are, that's it. I'm not going to take it. Somebody told me that you are this, you are that. No, because we've heard all of that. When you show me who you are, that's what I will believe. Because my experience with you may be different from someone else's experience of who you are. So I think each and every one of you should embrace the fact that you have to begin to assess the people who are trying to give you advice, who are trying to steer you in one direction or the other. You have to begin to look at them, right? For me, in the things that I do, let's talk about, my pastoral position here. For the size of my ministry and for the years of my ministry, and quite honestly, for the caliber of ministry we have, I can't go to any and anybody for advice. Some people will totally derail what God has given me. I can't. I would never go to, not that you can't learn from certain people, so don't walk away with that thought. But where we are in ministry now, I have to be careful. I can't just go to any average person to say, what do you think about this? Because they're not at my level. I can't go. I remember when I was doing the plays, and as I started out, if you've known great people, Tyler Perry and other people, when they started out, nothing. Everybody had to start from the bottom. So I wanted to learn from people's mistakes and so forth. And God has opened the door for me to meet with some people that blew my mind. Sometimes I would pinch myself to say, it's an old Caribbean saying, kind of like, is this for real? Am I before this person? And I get to ask them important questions. I'm planning to do this. What do you think? Now, I value their advice. If they look at me and they say, Henry, you know what? I don't think you got it, or I don't think you... I begin to think, not that I'm going to believe that, because if I believe I got it, I got it. But I will take more consideration to what they're saying because they have a track record. They've written plays, or they've done movies, or they've been in the entertainment industry, so they understand. Pastors, they have mega churches. They're dealing with greater budgets than I am. They've dealt with staff. I want to know. They have a track record, so I want to get the advice from them. So that's who I go to. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying going to people who have that proven track record. You cannot go wrong. And I think many of you, as you're listening right now, this podcast is for you, because if you be truthful, you probably can't say it publicly because you may offend a lot of people, but almost everyone in your circle is nowhere close to being qualified to counsel you, to give you advice, because they're not at your level. They have no proven track record. Talk a lot. Yes, they do. They bluff a lot. Yes, they do. But no, look at the record. That's what, don't just listen to what somebody's saying. What have they done? Think about that. What have they done? I remember once a young pastor came to me and he said, Bishop Fernandez, I'm planning to, go move my family from one state to the next to go pastor a church. This was probably 2 years before the pandemic. I got this offer to go. I asked them the situation at the church they're going, what kind of agreement you guys are making. I mean, what's this all about? Because you're going to uproot your family, stable income. The guy is very good at what he does. He runs a business. He's passionate about God, though. He runs a business, and but he feels, okay, it didn't work in one city. The church didn't work out, so he decided he wants to maybe take up another offer, and they told him, they'll give him this and da-da-da, all this kind of stuff. And after talking to him, because, again, I'm a veteran at this, I think after 31 years, I said to him after he came to a person who has a proven track record in the area that he needs counseling in. Oh, this is going to help somebody right now. And I said to him, I don't think you should. I can't force you. I don't think you should do it. Here's what I think you should do. And I gave him practical reasons. I said, listen, you can still preach the gospel, but you have a family to take care of. Here's what I think you should do. I think you should stay where you are and invest your time in your company. And then at the same time, preach and do all this other stuff. But maybe you should stay in the company, make all the money you can make to help set up you when God is ready for you to start a church. That the finances are there, so you're now better able to fund the work of God, because it's hard work. I told him when it comes to ministry, and he's proven it, it's hard work. People come, people go. I say, especially when you're birthing a new church, you have to fund everything. A lot of people don't see that. They just see when you blow up and you get successful according to them. They just see what you have now and what you possess. And then all of a sudden, you're this rich pastor and you're this and that. And I get it. I understand that some pastors do some crazy stuff. But you see, they label everybody in one. It's okay for them and everybody else to live well, but we preachers, we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be poor. I get that. Because according to them, we're robbing the poor. I understand what they're saying, But I said to the guy, I said, no, I don't think you should do that. I think you should just, work on your company, put that money aside, and when you're ready, don't do it. Now, he could have said, I don't care, what Fernandez is saying. Fernandez, he got his church, because some people are like that. They ask for counsel. When you give them counsel, they take it personal. Now they want to slam you and so forth. You got that big church, and now you don't want me to be big like you. He didn't do that. He said, thank you, sir. I'm going to take your advice. Well, he took my advice, invested in his company, focused on that, focused on his gift. And then it blossomed. Oh, he's loving it. Many times we have conversations. He will say to me, Bishop, thank you. Thank you. That would have been a huge mistake, because when COVID hit, it was 2 years before COVID. When COVID hit, the church that he was going to go to was not prepared for the kind of transition they needed to have in place to handle COVID. So the church went down. All of the promises that they'd made to him, they couldn't keep it up. Now, he would have moved his family. given up his business, where would he be today? You see, he got counsel from someone who has a proven track record. And the reason why I could have counseled him, I've made some dumb, stupid mistakes. And I learned from them. And I promise, with all of those mistakes that I've made, whomever God put in my space, I'm going to do everything in my power to help them, to counsel them, so that they don't make the same mistakes that I've made. And every now and then, this person and I talk, and he's just, when I say he's doing well, he is doing very well. What if he had gone to the wrong person? And this is my point. So many of you are just talking to wrong people, man. Wrong people. Why would you sit around the table with someone who has nothing to offer you, not even encouragement? It doesn't have to be money, but if they have no encouragement, if it's always anger and bitterness, if it's always talking about people's business and all how everybody else is crazy and everybody, how is that benefiting you? I don't get it. How is that benefiting you? I'm sorry, at my age, I'm very selective. You may say, well, that's full of pride. You can say whatever you want to say. At my age, at this stage of my life, I'm very selective of who I bring in my space now. Oh, there was once a time in my life, and I know many of you, as you're listening now, you're feeling exactly the same. I felt like I needed everybody. I needed this. I felt like if I didn't have certain people, or if I didn't do this, I couldn't achieve and whatever. But I have discovered that if God be for me, if God has anointed me, if God has appointed me, then there's nothing in this world I can't achieve. If God has appointed you, if he has anointed you, everything that God has called you to do, if you pay attention and bring the right people into your space, you're going to make it, honey. You're going to make it. So my encouragement to you today is never to allow unsuccessful people to distract you. You're on the right path. I told you at the beginning of the podcast, you're on the right path. Dream big. Go for it. Whatever you're dreaming of, I don't care if it's purchase a house. I don't care if invest in. It doesn't matter if it's starting up a business, if going back to school, whatever it is, maybe it's to be an actor, whatever you feel passionate about. Maybe it's to enter into a new relationship. Go for it. Take advice from people, but you better make sure that you look at those people and examine their lives first to see if they are worthy to impart into your life. If they have no track record of being successful, leave those people alone. There are problems. There are problems. I would hate to see 10 years from now, you listen to those kinds of people and you become like them, because they're not going anywhere. I promise you, they will forever be the way they are until they change. Until they change. I've heard people 10 years ago, I hate to say it, 10 years ago, people looked at me and really dogged me out, said all kinds of crazy stuff. And I look back at their life now, or I should say I look at their life now, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay. I've had some ups and downs, but I came out good. I came out good. Don't listen to crazy people, honey. Keep your head up. God is on your side, and you are on the right path. I love you. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the podcast today. Please share this with someone And you know it. I would love, absolutely love, for you to send me your comments about today's podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.